Hey guys, today we're checking out the May 1985 issue of Spin. It's the very first issue. The magazine, Madonna on the cover. I was very excited when I found this. First issue. Let's get into it. We still got some good cigarette ads going on in 1985. TDK ad. Good synthesizer ad with, is that Bruce Springsteen or fake Bruce Springsteen? And table of contents here. We got the editor's letter here, sort of explaining Spin's mission statement, which, I guess was a reaction to Rolling Stone basically at the time. And, it says a good passage here about it. For too long, the music and youth culture press has deteriorated from the fiercely challenging, imaginative, and sharp-witted force it was a generation ago to either a slick homogeneity on the one older side, or a more babbling, incoherent discredit on the other. Gone are the passions and the excitement of rock and roll. There are few clear, bright reflections of its free and open spirit. Okay. Some lofty goals here from Spin Magazine, first issue. Bob Guccione, of course, this guy right here, the founder and editor-in-chief at the time, son of Bob Guccione of Penthouse. So, founded it with a loan from his dad, I believe. It's true. Let's see what else is going on in here. Flash, a good compact disc ad, early CDs. Hadn't quite caught on yet. Good Jim Beam ad here. Here's a Sade profile here from Jessica Barron's. This was, I believe, first album, Sade Diamond Life. So she just gotten some success here. So this is like a pretty good look for Sade right here. Some more sort of news items here, new artists. More news happening here. Here's a U2 profile, and they had U2 just had kind of scored their first big top 40 hit in the U.S. In the Name of Love, Pride. So this was a big look for U2 at the time. Bono, great Bono hair happening here. I don't know what that is. Okay, so here's an article about the Fuegos and the Replacements, who I guess sort of were two long-time popular underground rock bands who were kind of getting a lot of attention at the time. Rap and Roll, here's a good one about a good article about Run-DMC by Edward Rosen. And like a lot of early hip-hop articles, it basically tells the entire story of what hip-hop is and where it came from. And, talks a lot about Run-DMC being kind of the first, big stars in the genre, basically. Nice to have that in the first issue. Spin, so here's the album review section here. Got some Velvet Underground, Joan Fogerty, Till Tuesday. Let's see what else we got here. Mick Jagger, solo album. Fela, who we're going to see more of later. Tommy Boy's Greatest Beats, that sounds like a good one. Here's the Sade review, which I think is mostly positive, a little mixed. Husker Du, Bronski beat. Here's sort of notes on the underground here. Butthole Surfers, of course, big deal. Here's Fela Kuti, who, Afrobeat icon, who at the time of this article in the 80s was in prison because he spoke out against government and the military dictator at the time put him in jail. I think he was in there for a year, and I'm pretty sure this article is profiling sort of his impact leading up to that. Bronski beat, give their first American interview. Here we go, Madonna, cover story, written by Scott Cohen. Some great photos here. This was Madonna after Life Like a Virgin. I'd say Like a Virgin came out like end of '84, and this is summer '85 basically. So she was riding off like Material Girl era. This is an interesting way that they've chosen to split up this article. It's sort of Madonna's take on each of these subjects: trash, sex, idols, lookalikes, eating out, money, belly buttons, crucifixes, bras, returning calls, physical attractions, virginity, monogamy, stepped on men, bad press, records, fights, little Madonna, fantasy photo. Interesting. Madonna's first movie. Interesting. I don't know about this film here. A Certain Sacrifice. Here's Bryan Ferry going solo after Roxy Music, I believe. Profile. Here is profiling Wally George, who was a popular conservative talk show host, I think, basically. Sort of a crazy right-wing guy. Here's a profile on Philip Glass, what he had going on then. This is a feature on Stryper, who was the Christian heavy metal band, which is interesting combination. Okay, this is the profile article on Frankie Goes to Hollywood, who they had Relax, Don't Do It. They were like a huge deal in the UK, were super popular. In the US, they were kind of less known. They were sort of known for one song. In the UK, like they had, huge, like number one hits. And this article, I think, is sort of talking about their interesting lack of success in the US versus the UK. Malcolm McLaurin ad here. Okay, this is looking like worst movies of the year. Wow, what do we got here? The Terminator #1, Bolero, Friday the 13th Part 4, Where the Boys Are, Sheena Queen of the Jungle, The Evil That Men Do, Ice Pirates. Well, I don't know most of these movies. Human Animals, Break-In. Ooh, The Being. Yeah, I don't know a lot of these movies, but it sounds like I have to see them. Here's the article on the director of Repo Man. I'm blanking on his name right now. Probably says it here. Alex Cox, I think that's his name, right? He was directing the Sid and Nancy movie about the Sex Pistols, Sid Vicious, and this was like about the process of making that, I guess. Disney. Okay, we got some good peppermint schnapps ads here. Alan Parsons Project. Great radio ad here. You're never too old to rock and roll. Here's an article here about compact discs. Less is more. Exciting. New technology. Billy Squier. Here's I guess David Lee Roth had a column, maybe, I believe, and this is David Lee Roth writing about lowriders, which is an interesting combination I wouldn't expect. Here's a article about like goth death rock, I guess. Yeah, death rock. Interesting. Here's another sort of here's the like subscription page, but they have a sort of more succinct, I guess, mission statement here. It says, on March 19th, Spin Magazine hit the newsstand to give Rolling Stone the competition everyone but Rolling Stone hoped it would get. Spin is a fresh, intelligent alternative to a mostly tired, complacent music press. It is an upbeat magazine without the politics and in love with rock and roll and all its kindred spirits. It will get beneath the surface of stories, cover what's new and most exciting, and echo nothing and no one. Because Spin gets turned on, so will you. Our magazine will entertain you, surprise and compel you, and sometimes shock you. We'll make you laugh because we have a sense of humor, and we'll make you think because we have a serious side too. We'll be open, unafraid, independent, unpretentious. We'll take chances and probably a few lumps. Most of all will be fun. A confession. Spin is imperfect, it's rough-edged, relentless, insatiably curious, a little aggressive, a little cocky, youthfully uncompromising, but maturely flexible. Romantic? Definitely. Irreverent? Sure. Unpredictable? Yes. Very alive. Spin. So I found it. I think it's interesting that they said they're explicitly not political, which is obviously a reaction to Rolling Stone at the time. But that's pretty interesting. Here are the Spin Patrol. This is like a tabloid roundup of like ridiculous tabloid stories in the 80s. Here's we should take a minute to acknowledge the amazing Hall & Oates Pontiac ad right here. Here's also an interview with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, kind of early Chili Peppers here. This interesting like quick Q&A here. One thing that stuck out to me about this is there is a sort of strange line of questioning here where Spin is asking, what are your favorite Black English expressions? Which is like, just a bizarre sort of relic of the 80s thing to ask that is like, why are you guys talking about this? Is like really weird. And some of the expressions they cite are kiss my ass and rock the spot and fresh and chill. Flea loves chill, he says. So there's that. Anyway, we've come to the end of the mag. Oh, this is by Glenn O'Brien, by the way, this interview, which is perhaps why it's a little weird. But we've come to the end of the magazine here, and I'm going to flip it over here so you can see the back. Nice Budweiser ad. And, here we are. Spin, May 1985, first issue ever. I'd say it's a pretty good issue for a first issue. Holds up pretty well. First issues are not always so great or, indicative of what is to become of the magazine, but I think that this was a pretty good representation of, the great magazine that it would go on to become. So thanks for checking it out with me today.